And let's see if this is going to work. Restream looks kind of frozen. Are we seeing something on YouTube yet? All right, I'm seeing YouTube. Looks kind of frozen. Nope, that seems to be okay. Can I get that? All right, now, is it coming through on SudokuCon? I think so. I'll have to mute that. And is it restreaming on my channel? Let's see. I don't see it right now. Maybe not. Okay, well, we can look into that today, since that's what this stream is about. Welcome to the stream. Let's see how it's going. And I don't even know how I'm not really. Here we go. Yeah. All right. Let's see how this works out. So this is supposed to be hosted on my channel as well, but as you can see, it is not. So that's something I need to figure out how that works. All right, but before we do that, let's kind of talk about that. So today's going to be an odd one because I had a lot of stuff to do, but I wanted to try cross-streaming to SudokuCon on Twitch, and I'll talk about that a little bit more in a minute. So, let's see. Today, I'm gonna write down quickly all the things I have thought about doing today, and then we're gonna kind of trim that down to the stuff that's actually relevant to SudokuCon, so we can kind of keep it like that. So I am updating some puzzle encoding tools on the Puzzle Tools repo. So update Sudoku Tools repo with encoding libs library. All right, that's one item. The other item is try out Streamlabs overlays. So that's something I discussed with Glipperall yesterday, and I'd like to learn a little bit more about how they work. Look at Streamlabs and Ko-fi APIs. So I was thinking about helping them out with setting up some kind of scripts for collecting all the kind of different API information into one place. Sorry, not API information, all the different kind of feeds for the charity live stream. All right, and I have to apologize because I'm not fully connected to the SudokuCon channel. I don't get the merged chat, because normally on my Restream dashboard I would have a joint chat between YouTube and Twitch, which isn't working today. So we're gonna have to look into all that stuff a little bit more, while I'm also dealing with some messages coming in. Geesh, all right, and what's that? Pending request. Right. Yeah. So yes, this was we're working on the killer Sudoku code. We have a couple of issues we could look into. We can always fall back to the to-do list. So we have Streamlabs, Ko-fi. Oh yes, we need to plan our live stream, our charity live stream block. So plan SudokuCon charity stream block, or at least start planning. I'll be a little bit more forgiving for myself. All right. And in the meantime, people are messaging me while I'm in a stream, guys. I can't deal with that right now. All right, I'm gonna have to try hard to ignore that for now. Sorry about that. All right, so it looks like the stream is live on Twitch. The problem is, because I'm not connected to the channel properly, I just have a stream key. I have no idea how the stream stats are going. So I'm gonna make some notes here. So SudokuCon stream tech notes. I'll do some notes. Probably need login to get stream stats and connect restream properly. Yeah, because right now my restream isn't really connected. So that's an issue. Hey Clover, how are you doing? Yeah, it would be nice to have some people that normally don't watch my super techie streams in here today. Yeah, so because I don't have a login, I mean, it's good that I can stream to it without the login, and I found a plugin for OBS to multi-stream for OBS. Do I have that browser window still open? No. There is a OBS multi RTMP stream plugin. That's good to know, so we can output from OBS to multiple sources. I don't actually know if I can monitor my own bandwidth usage. Is OBS showing me something here? I mean, it says 3.6 kilobits per second. I don't know if that's double my... it's my I/O here. If I look at this graph, what am I getting here? Don't know if this includes networking. I don't see anything. I see OBS blipping in there, but it's probably so low. Hey, Mark, how are you doing? Hey, Mr. Don. My God, that's the most viewers I've had probably as long as I've done these streams. Well, the Super Techie streams are my usual Sunday streams that I do on my channel over on Sven Codes. Global entropy. Ooh, all right. Good luck with that. Yeah, if there's some setters present, I might actually talk a little bit about some of the tech stuff I'm working on that might actually be interesting to setters as well. Okay, so I've got my notes here. We have got the plugin. So far, so good. Oh yeah, let's look into the Twitch hosting. Twitch.tv hosting not working. So right now, I was supposed to be hosting, and I'm gonna bring this over here. Let's see how that works. Hopefully it won't show anything on stream. So I set this up to host the SudokuCon channel, and I believe I did that over here somewhere. Featured content, right? So I said suggested channels, automatically featured channel from suggested channel. Okay, so Twitch, how to host another channel. I could not find it. And to be fair, I have not had time to set up very well. Type in the command /host. Okay. All right. So I should be able to just go here, go on my own channel. Wait. I guess I might have to do it on the, no, on the video stream manager here. And if I do /host SudokuCon, is that gonna work? I don't see it working. Navigate to your own chat and type in the command host. How to host on Twitch. Ultimate guide. Do I really need an ultimate guide? Why is it not just a button I can press? Very simple process. It won't take much of your time. With basic command, mouse click, you're all set effortlessly. Auto hosting. Yeah. So that's what I thought I had set up. Channel. Featured content. Auto host channel. Now the auto host channel feature thing, I didn't see that. So channel, featured content, there is no auto host. Now I wonder if that's something I don't have access to, but I'm pretty sure in the past I used to have access to. So this is still not working. And I mean, I got no response from the command that I typed in here. Let me type this again. /host block unblock help mods vips vote. Like host doesn't come up as a possible command here. Unban ban announce /host help host. What about /help? Nope. Show mod auto mode. Show mod icons, run actions. Maybe hosting is blocked somehow. /help host. That's a command that I feel should have something that should do something. Welcome to chat room. Okay, that's not doing it. Twitch on the platform, idly in the browser. Open your own Twitch channel. So that's this one. Navigate to your own chat. But where is the chat? When I'm not streaming, there is no chat. Unless this is only shown to myself. What if I go there on an incognito window? Session. Oh, all right. Can I? Nope. Oh, wait. Where are we? Sven Codes. Ah, it looks like it is... No, wait. No. This is an old stream. Okay, it is not... Ah, here we go. Chat. All right. So let's go there. Here we go. Chat. So if I write host SudokuCon here, nothing happens. Okay. Twitch host not working. That's the second stop. Uh-oh. They're removing the feature? Have they removed the feature? Hold it. This is more than a year old. Okay, so maybe this is no longer a thing. Hosting on the view page, bring attention to underloved channels, no direct engagement. There's now removing hosting. Okay. Going to die here. Alright. So, hosting is no longer working. Okay. So, Twitch host is no longer a thing, apparently. On Twitch in 2023. So that's not a thing anymore, apparently. I mean, I put the featured content thing in there, but it doesn't seem to be doing anything. This is the incognito one, right? If we're going here, suggested channels. So is that just something it shows? Where? Oh, it literally just puts a link there. Okay, that's not super useful. Well, that sucks. Okay. I didn't want to triple stream. Well, okay, so Twitch hosting does no longer exist. Well, I guess I learned that today. I was this many years old when I learned that. Sorry, to my own Twitch followers, no Twitch today. No Twitch stream today. Yeah, but what it used to be is that going to the channel that was hosting, you would literally see the other stream, right? So the idea is that my followers on my Twitch channel would now see a stream and get a notification for it and stuff. But instead of that, they're probably not getting anything. That's kind of what I'm expecting here to happen. All right. So in addition to that, yesterday I think we looked into Margie Sears is still typing. My brain won't let me ignore little thingies. Can I ignore this friend request? Yeah. Oh my god. That little red circle, my brain will not let me ignore it. It will drive me crazy. Okay. So let's have a look at Streamlabs. We had a quick look yesterday. And I'm pretty sure, I'm gonna log in here quickly. Log in with Twitch, I suppose. Now, yeah, Yeah, I think for me to do more experiments, I'll probably need access to it. Yeah, it's probably, you know, the people that it was helpful to didn't make them enough money, basically. All right, so I'm logged in. I don't think this is showing anything here. So that's into my account, right? And it does have, so it has all these kind of not charity, donation widgets and all this stuff. So what I wanted to figure out yesterday is, kind of, can I kind of, there's a webhook, right? So stream, actually, well, first of all, I probably have to set something up myself to be able to test with it, right? So let's see, account setting, tip history, recent events, all stars, alert box, all widgets. Tipping, here we go. So, tip method. So I'll have to connect PayPal. Okay, I can do that. Let's just do that quickly off screen, please. Don't put this like I should not be setting up payment methods live on stream. Yeah. Yes. All right. I think I should be okay. Might have to do something on my phone. Let's find out. This is going to be a weird stream because there's so much stuff. Oh, convert your... You'll need a PayPal business account to accept payments. All right, well, I do not want to do that. That's for sure. So, sorry, Streamlabs. I'm not set up for that. I'll have to talk to somebody at SudokuCon then, maybe that I can connect my channel to their PayPal temporarily for testing, so I don't mess up my own setup here. I wonder if I can set something up like without actually connecting it to payments just yet. Okay, so there's a URL. What does this URL mean? So what I don't understand is how the tipping works from the perspective of the stream. Do we just post the link and people have to click the link? Like, I thought there would be something on the Twitch interface, but I guess not. All right, so we'll have to look at something like Streamlabs API. So I had a quick look yesterday. Get started. Okay, this color scheme is horrendous. Okay, so connecting to an account, submit your application, obtain an access code, and register your application. Posting donations, triggering alerts. So the idea would be that if somebody's donating something, a script gets notified, and then it can do something which then shows up in an overlay. And similar, we should have a Ko-fi API. So then, let's say if we integrate with Ko-fi, we can get everything collected into the same place. Donation widget, Discord reward, do I have a Ko-fi webhook? Yeah. So there's a webhooks page. And then you can basically set something up and it sends a callback. All right, that's not something I'm going to do on stream now. I think I need to do a little bit more homework there. So set up Ko-fi webhook. Set up Streamlabs webhook. Try or test. So this is kind of to do for the future. Test combining multiple donation notifications in one script. Output notifications to overlay. So then the idea would be, okay, can I set up like a little overlay or something? Yeah, let me just double check the YouTube chat. Nobody in YouTube chat. So sad, so sad. All right. By the way, yeah, youtube.com/SvenCodes. I would appreciate the sub there as well. Maybe one day I'll reach 1,000. Maybe one day. All right. So, Streamlabs overlay, I think, is next. Yeah, I've got a chat of somebody who's had some of their viewers said that they had issues with some puzzles not the checker not working. I'm assuming it's probably on, although he's saying what is working for him is a, let me just have a look at this puzzle if I'm gonna get distracted as well and talk about something you guys can't see. So basically this puzzle, so we got spoilers. Yeah. So yeah. So that solves, I don't see why that wouldn't. So what is he saying? Sorry, most people don't seem to have had the issue. Otherwise, I don't know. There have been at least 2 other instances that people have commented on my other puzzles, but I don't remember which ones were now. Certainly, most people don't seem to have the issue. It also seems to be a more generally happening problem rather than tied to a specific puzzle. Yeah, unfortunately, people don't understand how to report issues, and I don't blame them. It's not an easy thing, but just saying somebody said something doesn't work and not knowing what or how and not being able to present it in any way and not even knowing what the thing is that doesn't work, well, that's not something I can investigate, right? Especially if everything I have access to works. But yeah, there's nothing in the URL that would not work for some people in terms of a solution check. So I don't even know. All right, one more thing I can try. He's actually linked me a stream, and he said in his stream it happened. So we're gonna be looking at some Twitchception here. This was at minute 1 hour 46 minutes and 45 seconds. All right, I'm just gonna pop in there. 45 seconds, 1 hour, 45. So, okay. So in this puzzle, so that's the URL he sent for that puzzle. So basically all I can do is I can enter the solution, and apologies again, once again for the spoilers here. So we'll enter the solution. It's correct. And then all I can do is compare it to what he had on the screen to see if it's in fact different. And so far, 100% of the time, when people reported this sort of, yeah. So what he entered here doesn't match the solution. So it could be that the puzzler has given the wrong solution. Let's see. Yada yada yada. Digits separated. Yeah. So the solution in the puzzle is wrong. Yeah. So this is not consecutive. So let's just mark the digits that are different. That's a 4, 3 swapped here. There gotta be some other swaps. 3, 4 swapped here. 3, 4 swapped here. 9, 8 swapped. And I'm guessing there's a bunch more 3, 4 swaps. Let him know. I'm just gonna invite him to the stream. That might make more sense. Let's see what other digits are different. This one is different. This one. These are different. These are different. Up here, anything wrong up here? No, I think the top 3 rows are correct. Yeah, let's just take a screenshot. right. So whoever created this puzzle created the wrong solution. Now, what obviously doesn't make sense is that different people with the same URL would get different behavior. Yeah, so I don't, let's see. Are these in the regular thermals? There's the increase from the bulb to the end. 2, 4, 7, 8. Yeah, this is still correct. 4, 8, 7. Yeah, so this is incorrect. So the solution, the stored solution is just outright wrong. All right, I think we can close that there. All right. So that's one thing out of the way. Oh yeah, so the other thing, now we stream. Yeah, the other thing I wanted to try is the studio mode, but somehow I feel uncomfortable doing this sort of on stream, to be honest. And we definitely want to start looking at planning the charity stream. So SudokuCon, and maybe now it's a good time to talk about SudokuCon for a second. SudokuCon is a conference we're currently thinking about, well, not thinking, we've started planning for Sudoku lovers, basically. It is currently going to happen roughly sometime in April of 2025, so it's kind of plenty of time, but it takes a long time to plan as well, and there will be a, I keep calling it a charity stream. It's not a charity stream, it's a fundraising stream in about a month, 24-hour stream with basically all the people you love from the Sudoku world, to raise some money to get this project started and on some sounder footing. And I will probably have an hour in that stream, so I'm gonna write down a few notes of just some thoughts off the top of my head, just some stuff that I can tackle next week, because I probably will need to talk to some people and get in touch with some folks. Let me just make sure everything's on stream. So I'm gonna write this down: SudokuCon fundraising stream. Let's give it the full label: 24-hour fundraising live stream plan name. Because I don't have a singular plan just yet. I just want to take down some notes. For example, contact various tech Sudoku techies for a podcast style discussion. So I would like to contact people like Ransk, Philip Newman, a couple of other people, people who are a bit more on the technological side, maybe AFK in terms of TechFan. Mark TechFan, maybe not, because I don't think he's like in front of the camera kind of guy. So this could be like a 3-4 person panel, just discussing kind of some plans, some wishes, some, I'm just gonna make some things like, let's do it like this: pupil, Piapple, what? Topics. How about the current state of tools? Future, and I think this warrants probably a list format. Hopes and plans. What's missing? Kind of what's missing, right? Like, what would people really want to have? What do we want in SudokuPad? I mean, since I'll be there, I might as well insert myself a little bit, take advantage of that. Another thing could be just me talking about SudokuPad. So I'd love to talk about the things that I've always been wanting to make, the bigger things that are kind of in the background and long-term plans. So SudokuPad future, social features, puzzle, DB, publishing, streams, channels. So these are kind of the sort of bigger macroscopic topics, and it would be maybe good to talk about how these kind of work out, you know, like the work that's already been done, especially when it comes to puzzle publishing. That's always been, from the very beginning, that's what I always wanted. There's a t-shirt behind my head. But it's also a big feature, and it's kind of one of those, it's not very incremental, right? I can add like a button to the app and everybody can use it, but to set up a whole site with accounts, with publishing channels, with feeds, with walls, with, you know, databases and so on, you know, you kind of have to have a lot of the pieces all ready at one go. So I would have to go away for several months not doing anything else, basically. And it's always very hard to justify that. So that is two kinds of things I'd like to do. Let's see, what else could I do? I mean, I'm personally not a puzzle setter, and I'm probably not a very interesting puzzle solver either. So I'll probably should stay away from those things. But I could also do a SudokuPad Q&A. I mean, this is hopefully a more interactive situation with more viewers and so on. Q&A, wish listing. Something like that, you know, these are kind of the bigger top links. Oh, you know what? Because I'm still talking to... yes. I'm still talking to Marty Sears about his puzzle. Let's see. I just closed this, right? Where was it? I think it was this one. Because he mentioned that he typed it in, and I'm wondering... Because I was just gonna say that the same URL cannot have two different bits of data behind it, unless they were created separately on different domains, and there was kind of a data collision. So if I've entered the solution from beta, is it the same or different? No, on beta it's the same. And what about alpha? Unless, you know, maybe one of his viewers is using alpha or something like that. Let's bring in the solution for alpha. Yeah, and I don't think that's how it works anymore. I mean, the data should get synced, but I do sync it manually, so it could have been different during the stream. Correct for me when I tried it. The one I posted above said correct for me. All right, I'm about to tell him that it cannot be correct for different solutions entered, but that's not entirely true. Because, and this is probably super tiny on stream, since solutions can have because solutions can't have wildcards in them, right? So if I have the source puzzle here, settings, oh, okay, cages, solutions. So as far as I can tell, there's no wildcards in here. If I go to current puzzle, solution, yeah, I mean this is the stored solution. Because he's still insisting that the same URL later on created a different result, which just shouldn't be possible. I mean, I don't see the URL on the stream. So far, I basically have zero evidence that there's actually a problem. Which, of course, makes it kind of impossible to fix it, since, you know, nothing is wrong, unfortunately. All right, let's take a break from all of this theorizing a little bit, and I'll go back to the first item, because this is something I've been working on, and I know this is not very SudokuCon-ish, but I would have liked to finish that this weekend. So, some of you, well, the people in the tech and algorithms, or the theory and programming channel, excuse me, would know that I'm quite into certain kinds of analysis and algorithmics in terms of puzzles. Not so much in the solving of puzzles, because I think other people already know a lot more about that, but in the storing and compressing of puzzles. And, you know, the long URLs have always bugged me. Let me see. Saying what Clover is saying. If you want to volunteer yourself, present the program side, we will make it happen. What appropriate parameters might be. The friend fast is fast at both program and Sudoku about what parameters. Oh, Clover was mentioning my idea of speed solving between a speed solver and a programmer how fast they can build a solver. Excuse me. Of course, the problem with that is if you don't know what constraints the puzzles use ahead of time, you know, can you practice the algorithms and then you just figure out how quickly you can write them. So it might be a little bit odd. All right. Anyway, so what I've been thinking about a lot is kind of how to improve the whole long URL situation. Now, ultimately, puzzles need to be in a database, but I've always been wanting to have also a alternate format that has the data in the URL, but for certain kinds of puzzles, for certain simple puzzles, you know, pure classics and so on, and then figure out, can we make these URLs reasonably short? So something like tinyURL doesn't make sense anymore. And I think I've got some pretty good encoders, but it's time for me to kind of share that data. So I have a Git repo at SudokuPad/SudokuTools, and I would like to publish some of that code there so other people can start looking at it. I also have an internal format called SCF, for Sudoku Compact Format, which does have some kinds of, and let me just show one of these off here. SCF. So for example, something like this. And basically, if I look at this here, so if I go here, so if we look at this without the domain name, we have 3 letters for the format. Then we have a number of digits here, which basically encode the puzzle itself. And this was a custom encoding I came up with. But I think I have... The problem with this one was that it doesn't include the URL. The solution of the puzzle. So it's a loss encoding for just sparse digits. But lately, I've been pushing everybody to include solutions. So in the meantime, I wanted to come up with a compact encoding for solutions as well. And then once you have solutions, you obviously don't want to encode the puzzle as a sparse number field anymore. You want to encode it as a bit field, right? Which I've looked into variable length compression, such as Huffman coding. I've did a whole bunch of that, but the savings they might make sense in like really large bulk. But once you have a variable length encoding, you need additional information to know, you need an extra character to know when the end is of your data, or you need to store the length or whatever. And I think the worst case the worst case was actually larger, like 83 bits instead of 81 for the raw bits. But the average was like 67, which gives you about 23 bits, which is, by the time you've added an extra character, you're not saving that much. You're saving maybe 1 character. And that's only like on average, so that only makes sense if you have thousands of puzzles, which you know, might make sense, but I don't think the complexity outweighs the utility, right? Now, in the SCF format, I have WX here, which basically stands for, in this case, being a Windoku and a X anti-diagonal puzzle, right? And then the T actually says, okay, the next bit is the title. So it basically just has a way of just encoding the title in here, and it's basically the bit up here, right? Just URL encoded. So that's kind of large. It's larger than the rest of the puzzle, but I feel like the title is really important to include, to have as a feature. And if people want to store this stuff very compact, they might just ignore the title, right? And I might add some code in the SCF decoder that says if there's no title, it just generates a basic title based on the features of the puzzle. You know, oh, this is a Windoku, or this is a classic, or this is a killer, or whatever, right? And then the next bit here with the A is the author, right? So we have an A and author, and the asterisk is in the moment just separating the data fields as a sort of generic separation character that doesn't interfere with URL encoding. And I probably should encode these with pluses and stuff, but, you know, just want to keep it simple. So that's kind of where we're at the moment. But I basically want to replace this. Now, the problem with that is I need to still recognize, like, I'd like to have it backward compatible, even if there aren't a lot of SCF encoded puzzles out there. I think I'm the only one who's using them a lot because I created some tools that pulled SCF data out of other websites, and I use them a lot for my own sort of personal, you know, happy fun playtime. So I'd like to be able to recognize this format from the other one that I've, the new encoding format. And then basically things like solution versus no solution. Well, probably solution and puzzle should just be encoded as a singular thing. I mean, if I look at this is 23 characters. No, this is, yeah, 24 characters, right? And I think currently, if I look at what I was testing with, and I was working on this here earlier today. So for example, this would be a solution. Now this is a killer puzzle, so actually this is not very good for testing because it doesn't have a solution. Here we go. Here we have a puzzle with a bit of solution data, right? And I'm kind of, let's do this. Actually, let's do this. I need to clean that up, this file. And that's the other thing I'm struggling with. How do I demonstrate this sort of partial code stuff that isn't like perfectly finished, done, but still have it be useful to somebody, to a stranger that looks at it open source wise. So I want to have the libraries well enough put together and then have a file that demonstrates how it works, right? But let's have a look at this. Personally, I'm always using P81 for a 9x9 puzzle. P being, and that's already wrong here, P being basically just the digits with zeros for the unused digits. So this is basically what the SCF format currently encodes. And then a full 81 digits without the gaps, I call it S81 for solution, right? So we'll have these, we'll output them, just, you know, so we know what we're looking at. And I think I'll bring in the code for the SCF encoding as well, which I think is over here somewhere. Yeah, it's these two guys. I'm just going to bring them in here quickly for testing, right? And I kind of code golf these to be really, really short and simple encodings, so they could be used in things like bookmarklets and so on. So it's actually really nice how small this is. And this includes, you know, encoding it into character ranges and stuff, which is done with these kind of expressions and stuff. And it was fun to put this together like this. I learned quite a bit about certain things of JavaScript. But we can now, for example, we can encode this like that. Just got to make sure this is ready to loop when we're getting there. And such. Hey, Shelby. Today I don't have my double chat up, so I'm kind of switching back and forth, but I don't necessarily see both of them. All right, so this should be the SCF encoding of the puzzle data. Let's run this quickly. Where are we here? All right, node test. Boom. Oh, that's already been declared somewhere else. Okay. Let us comment out all of this. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna put this into a closure, and we don't have that problem. Hurrah! There we go. Right. So, for example, in this case, let's also see how long this is, because that's kind of what matters, right? Yeah. So it's 26 characters, and let's just show to ourselves that the Sudoku algorithm also brings it back. Where were we? Here we go. So we got Sudoku, and by the way, that's just codec and or encode and decode, or codec and decodec munched together with the word Sudoku. It amused me at the time. Sudoku Battle Epic Stream Test. Wow. Yeah, I don't think I have access to actually updating the topics, so sorry about that. I need to actually mention that. Yeah. And set topics and use chat. Yeah. I don't think just the restream key, just the stream key is enough. All right. So yeah, so that's 26 characters, and let's do the same thing for the solution as well. So I'm gonna bring that up here and do the same thing, encode the solution. Now, the solution should encode to the same length, because the way this encoding works is that it basically just, it's a run length encoding, right? So it encodes the zeros. So the solution should be the same length, right? Yeah. So that's kind of the, if I do this, yeah. So this is the old SCF format. Now the new SCF format, or the updated SCF format, which again, like, I need to keep it backwards compatible. So I need to figure out if there's some sort of fingerprinting I can do on the data, because I don't actually want to add a character to it. I don't want to make it bigger, like every character counts, right? But yeah, we're going to do that in here actually. So besides this stuff, and I'm just now realizing I might be cutting this off. I'm gonna make this a lot bigger. Here we go. There we go. The other kind of encoding now I have is basically a way of reducing information, right? So for example, by taking, first of all, I don't need to encode 9 digits. So I can, so 9 numbers for a box, because I can deduce the final box. So I can encode this box like this, and I can encode this box like this, and this box like this. And now I can deduce a lot of information about these because I have this box and this box. So then I only need, I don't know, somebody did the math, but there's certain digits, this 9 can't, like a 9 can't be here, and wherever the 9 here is can't be there. So a 9 can only be, let's say if there's a 9 here and here, then in this box, the 9 can only be in these 4 squares. So you really only need 4 bits to describe those digits in this box, right? So then I can encode this, this, and this, and then the final box. So yeah, so for example, if you have these 2 boxes, I think, and then these 2, and then I think between, yeah. Anyway, I figured out, or together with a person, kind of figured out a way of reducing the number of bits needed, and then the final box isn't even stored, and then that's just recreated from, you don't need to store the final box. And overall, it reduces the number of bits we're using. And I believe the whole thing encodes to about 17 characters, I want to say. Let's try that out. So we have, this is our solution encoder, right? So let's do that here. Let's label that. And that should do the, yeah. So that encodes to 17 characters. And I think this is a fixed length encoding. So that's already saving 9 characters from the original SCF. So it's actually much more compact. And that's the full solution. And the puzzle itself now is just 81 bits, which I have, like I said, the Huffman encoding kind of brings it down a little bit, but I haven't come up with a clever way, because any digit could be missing or could be there. So I think you can only do lossy compression. I don't think you can do, sorry, you can only do variable length encoding. I don't think you can encode that information with a fixed length encoding smaller than the original 81 bits. So we have these, so the B64 is basically base 64, so it encodes it to characters that can be used in a URL. And it's a solution encoder, but I think we have, do we have the puzzle encoder here as well? No, I don't think so. So I think I just have the pack bits function here. Yeah, so we can just do this, packing bits from the puzzle itself. So we'll just check. I'll have to review now because does num to bits. I think it just turns the zeros to the number 0 and then everything else to the number 1. But let's just confirm that quickly. Yes, so it just turns it into a bitmap basically. So then we can do this, and then we can pack these bits. And I believe I still need to do this, right? No, I think I added something. So this is what I was doing before I started the stream. I think I added a function to just take any bitmap like that, any ones and zeros, lists of ones and zeros basically, and turn it into a compactified base64 encoded thing. So this is the puzzle encoding, unification coding. Here we have encode B, 64 bits. So, right, so that just takes, yeah, so basically it uses my bit packing with just 2 options for every bit. If somebody's really curious, you know, I can talk about that. You know, just ask in the chat. And I will not shut up about it. And that's will be this, right? And I'm gonna yeah. So we can also show the length of this, I believe. Like that. Right. So that's 13. And I think this is also fixed length, right? Yeah. So together these are 30 characters. Is it fixed length? Let us encode a 1.repeat81 and 0 repeat 81. Let's see if they're the same, like all zeros and all ones. 0.repeat 81. Nums to bits. Wait a second. Why is this not working? Yeah, and this is the sort of thing I spend most of my time on. Not devising the clever algorithms. I do that while I'm showering or while I'm sleeping. But just basically guessing its syntax instead of, you know, thinking about it too hard. So I do this. So that works. And this also works. And this. Oh, what? Inc P81. Ah, okay, that's the encoding of that. But all zeros? Ooh, that is an edge case bug. All right, I'm pretty sure that should work. So, skip that. Oh, cool. Yeah, always check your edge cases, I guess. So it's all zeros, right? Nums to bits. And then encode base64 into bits. So encode base64 into bits. So let's bring that over here. All right. And let's see what it does. So it does have an encode 64 on the outside. Pack bits. Oh, because... wait a second. So we have nums to bits, right? So this is the one that breaks. So the next one here is pack bits with a 81 long bit pattern, right? So this should be 81. All right. 0n. Okay. I can see why that might be a problem, I suppose. This bit here is 81, yada, yada, yada. Okay, let's just log that so I don't do the math in my head. So 80b. Why is it b plus 5? It should be b.length plus 5. Yeah, that looks wrong. How did the b get snuck in here? That should be b.length. Because here I'm basically trying to figure out... let's squash this. Yeah, basically, what this is supposed to do is basically saying, okay, how many characters are we supposed to have, right? So 81 bits, how many base 64 characters does that need? And it should be 81 times all of this, right? So we're adding 5, because this basically gives us the floor. But by adding 5, it means we're always getting the right. So this should get us 4, yeah. And I need that to what's the word? To pad it correctly, right? So it's fixed length. Yeah, here we go. All right. All right. Okay. So that was the bug here. Good, good, good. Good that I didn't publish it like that. Am I using it anywhere else? B.length, B.length. I think the rest is all right. Because I kind of got into the habit of building things in a very compact format because I was like pasting code into consoles and stuff, you know, for future use in URLs, in bookmarklets and so on. But it's a bad habit. I need to stop that. Yeah, and we need to do this and this to get the actual encoding. We probably should show the 0 and 1. Yeah, so all 0 is basically 14 zeros, and all 1s is 7 with all these yada yadas here. And we probably want to unencode these as well, just to confirm. So if we do this, and we'll just grab this and change the E to a D. Right? I think that's roughly the right number of braces. We'll do that. And I need to change 2 letters. That's how lazy I am. All right. Yeah. So interestingly enough, we have the leading zeros here from the padding, because 81 does not divide by, yeah, so we have padding here. So we need to, okay, so that's a little bit of a problem because this is a generic bit and packer. So this should take any number of bits, right? So to actually unpack them correctly, you need to feed in to let it know how many bits you're expecting out. In other words, what the padding is, right? And there's no way of actually avoiding that unless you include that with the pack data, which I don't want to because that'll take another character. Although, let me see. I wouldn't know how we would mark how much padding we've included unless the padding is done. It'll just take extra space, I suppose, right? We cannot just ignore leading zeros. Yeah, because we don't know. Like, it would be distinguishable from data that actually had that in there. So, so the decoding here needs to have size and array fill to dot join. So size for this. So if I take this, put size here, and then default it to that, that should do the trick, right? And then obviously I have to pass in, hey, I'm expecting 81 yada yadas out of here. Like that. No. No. Wait. Decode B64. Decode B64 bits. Did I not save this maybe? Decode dat array size. All right. let's get more verbose. Let's see. If I remove this. Size undefined. Am I not passing the size in? Encode, decode. I think I got my braces wrong by 1 level. There we go. All right. 81 as it should be. This wasn't wrong. Man, all these details, all these details. Yeah, so this is kind of, I mean, this is not exactly what I'm doing for SudokuPad. This is kind of community service stuff, but I hope that will, you know, healthy community, healthy SudokuPad. Kind of building some tech to share with the community. I'd love to do a lot more of this. If, you know, if my rent was paid, that's what I would spend all my time on, if I could. All right, so that's working. But that also means we need to do the same thing. Okay, here I was just testing. Yeah, so what we're basically verifying here is that it doesn't matter if it's all ones or all zeros. We're getting a fixed length of 14 characters for puzzle encoding. Here we go. And the solution encoding is 17 characters. So it's crazy to me that I can encode the full solution in 17 characters. And then just the bits only save me only 3 characters. Because there's so much extra information with the placement of Sudoku digits that I can take advantage of. It's crazy that it's such a small percentage difference, you know. I'm sure some mathematicians would have a field day with that. All right, so now in terms of our SCF data format, the idea would be I don't really think we can do one without the other. So now the killer, yeah. So there's a couple of thoughts I have. So for any kind of puzzle, you generally, since the solution is so compact, I mean together there are 31. Am I get that right? Yeah, 31 characters. So, and this is variable length encoding. So certain puzzles might be, you know, the more digits there are, the larger this encoding will get. So 26 is, yeah, it's a little smaller than 31, but not much. And it doesn't include solution check, right? So I'm tempted to say, okay, we'll always include the solution plus the bitmap. Now the difference is that in something like this, a full killer, there are no bits, right? So we could, there's a whole category of puzzles where we'll never have that, right? Now that means I could have this as an optional part. So start with the solution, have the missing givens basically as, or the givens bitmap basically here, right? And then skip it for puzzles that just don't have any givens. Which might mean that we kind of want to invert it. I don't know. And that's the other thing to consider is like if, no, because it's fixed length encoding, so it doesn't matter. But if I encode them together, it'll be slightly smaller. So if I munge all the bits together, because I have those 3, you know, I think I'll save about a character overall. And it's kind of tempting to do that and just say, okay, screw it. All these puzzles will have an extra, you know, 13 characters in the URL. I don't know. The other thing is to kind of add these givens sort of to the SCF format, just like what I was looking at earlier, you know, just like we have the W, we have the X, we have the T, we have the A, and similarly, maybe we'll have, you know, we'll now have G for givens, right? And then we'll have C for cages, you know, that kind of thing. Now, the cage encoding, I'm actually quite happy with, because for a while I've been kind of wondering how that would work, and I thought kind of a full encoding like this versus a sparse encoding of, you know, most partial killer puzzles would be a huge deal. But I realized that actually a partial one is just where we have a giant cage for the remaining cells, right? I don't know exactly how that would be handled yet. Maybe if a cage is more than 9 cells, right? Now that the only problem is that, of course, would mean that if you have a killer puzzle that literally is only missing 1 cage that's less than 9 cells, it would just fill that in with a cage. But it also basically does make a difference. It's basically just cosmetic at that stage, right? So probably what I'll do is like, hey, if the cage is larger than 9 cells, if there's 1 cage larger than 9 cells, just don't render it, basically, skip it. Now, the insight I had was basically, if you you can basically turn this grid into a set of separation lines, right? So for this cell, I can say there's a separation on the right and the bottom. Now I can say there's one at the top on the left as well, but this and this cell share this line, right? So we don't need to encode the right edge for this and the left edge for this. So for every cell, we only really need to encode the left and the bottom edge, which also means that for the bottom edges, we can skip the last row of cells because we can just assume a bottom edge here, right? And the same for the right edges, we can skip the rightmost edge of the entire board, right? So that means we're not even encoding 9 by 9. We're basically just encoding for the horizontal edges. We're really just for the edges horizontally between cells, which are the vertical edges. We're only really encoding these, right? Because there's an assumed right edge on the rightmost column. And then we're just encoding these cells for, painting, for the other edges, right? And that's 72 each, so it's 144 bits, and we can just encode them as two 72-bit bitmaps. And the nice thing is that that really doesn't just apply to cages, it applies to any partial grouping of cells, right? So anything, sorry, not partial grouping, any non-overlapping grouping of cells, right? It doesn't work with lines, because obviously lines have directionality, right? So a line, it matters if a line, it matters if a line does this versus if a line, does this, or if a line does this, right? These are all different lines, but they're the same set of cells, right? So a line actually has slightly more information, but it probably can get encoded in the same way, because for every cell, a line can only go down to the right, if you're excluding diagonal lines for now, right? Because we have the same, like, a line to the left doesn't make sense because it's already covered by a line to the right. So we can probably do a very similar encoding for lines. And then that's actually something I'd like to do as well. Yeah, so the idea is basically you're encoding these bit patterns, but then how you're using it is determined elsewhere, right? So kind of how we have C here, the encoding would be this bit pattern, but then maybe we'll have a, I don't know, W for whispers, or a P for whispers, or whatever, or we have a, I don't know, Renban, R for Renban lines, right? And we'll do the same sort of thing, Arrows would be a little bit different, although with arrows you could, well, one thing these lines don't have is a front and a back, right? So arrows need a front and a back, thermals need a front and a back, right? So you need some sort of additional information there for these. I don't know. Maybe arrowheads. Maybe you need another bit pattern just for all the arrowheads, or all the the thermal bulbs, and so on and so forth. But yeah, you could cover quite a few things. Now, obviously, it doesn't make sense. Once you have a complex puzzle with a lot of these, if you're adding, 13 characters, before you know it, you're at 100, 200 characters. And although, let's see how big this is, right? So this is almost a kilobyte. So yeah, we can still stay a lot smaller than that. And for most URLs, it would be helpful. And the other place where it's helpful, is, of course, is if I want to include 10,000 killer puzzles in SudokuPad the app. Yeah, that would be, 10,000 times 1,000, that's 10 megabytes, right? Currently, the app is 2 megabytes to install, or 2.5 megabytes. So adding 10 megabytes just to include the puzzles doesn't make a lot of sense. But if I make the puzzles 40, 50 bytes each, right? And I have a little bit of a smart thing that fills in the rules and so on and so forth. Bada bing, bada boom, right? You have just a few hundred kilobytes, or a few thousand kilobytes, a few dozen kilobytes for tens of thousands of puzzles potentially, right? And that's kind of where I would like to get with this. I have a couple of puzzle, these puzzle collections, right? And I would like to test these kind of encoding schemes on that and see, if they make sense. Like, for example, right now, my collection of killer puzzles doesn't have solutions. So I have to each send them to rank solver, and that kind of takes some time. And then, it's something I can run overnight or whatever. Sorry. Marty Sears is talking to me. He couldn't join the stream because he's got to go, but apparently he can still ask me on chat. All right. So let us go back to testing the killer. So this is not really necessary anymore. Let us give this little test here. So I think I've kind of talked myself into separating the solution from the givens, basically, and encode them separately. So now we have the cage encoding. So the cage encoding here, I just brought it over. This is not actually from an SCL format or FPuzzles format data, but it's just, I've already done the transformation there. The thing is, I don't actually include puzzle data in this repo, and I'm kind of hesitant to do so, but maybe I'll have to include 1 or 2 puzzles just to demonstrate certain kind of things. But what I'd like to see, because the whole point of this code is that it's kind of small. So for example, we have encode cage, and this is a very short function. So if we'll take something like that, right, and we'll just kind of inline it like this. Right? And then this puzzle, which sits in source puzzle, I believe. Right? And the idea is numerical. That's actually not good. Source puzzle dot cages. And the cages here have cells. Now, this is basically like the cages being encoded, and what that encoding means are 2 separate things, right? So the format then would also have to mark it, hey, are these killer cages or are these other kinds of cages? Because, you know, where's stream in SudokuCon Twitch? What are you talking about? Oh, there's somebody on the YouTube chat. Yes. Yep. 3 or less cells outside cages which have a repeat. That there are 9 or less cells outside cages which have a repeated digit. Yeah, I mean, this is this encoding is, you know, it's not a generic encoding, right? So the current SCF format doesn't support anything except for the W, which is the Windoku constraint, these gray boxes, the X, which is a full positive and negative, you know, and doesn't support anything else. And then I added title, and, you know, now I'm going to add a killer cage encoding. So that's just killer cages, right? So, and I define a killer Sudoku as something like this. So it basically doesn't have any givens, and it has a full coverage of killer cages, right? But the encoding itself can also manage partial coverings, except it doesn't have a way of determining which cage is outside of that, right? So then in the future, I could use the same encoding to determine something else, you know, a different kind of cage, etc., right? And it doesn't need to encode the cage totals because it can determine these from the, what's the word? From the solution, right? So, and I'm talking to somebody who mentioned that, my God, there's a little emoji pop-up thing on the chat, and it's covering part of the chat, and it's a fairly big part of the chat. Jeez, all right. So it could determine that if a cage has a repeated digit in the solution, then that's not a cage, and it just strips it, right? But it wouldn't necessarily give the setter total control. But that's not the point. This is not designed to encode any arbitrary puzzle. This is very specifically designed for things like, hey, I have an algorithm that generates killer Sudokus, and I'm going to generate 10,000 of them, and I want to encode them in a compact format and put them on or share those URLs without having to save those and upload them to a database somewhere, right? All right. Found your mirrored stream in SudokuCon Twitch. Karen, are you talking about my stream versus? Because I don't see anything in my Twitch chat on Sven Codes. I don't think there's anybody there. Oh yeah, there's nobody there. All right. All right. So let's go back to this bit. Yeah. So we can basically just say cages. And now this basically just takes arrays of cells, which are pairs of 0 through 8 kind of, and this is all currently only for 9x9s and so on. Again, you know, it's designed for a very limited set of type of puzzle. All right, so cages, we should be able to map them. So that should get us the cells. And then if we do encode cages here, that should get us, I don't remember what the encoding actually outputs. We'll find out in just a second here. If I do this, yeah. So that gets us a 144 character string, which is basically 2-bit sets of 72 bits each. And this part here is what takes out the every 9th digit for the horizontal separations, and then this one takes out the remaining 9, the last row of the vertical ones, right? And let's also test, let's put the space in here for consistency. The decoder over here. This is slightly longer, so this puts the ones back in for each one, or it adds ones, right? Doesn't know if they're ones, it just says, hey, there's a edge on the right side and an edge on the bottom. And we should be able to decode these back into pairs of row column combinations, right? And that's kind of what this does. And then, of course, the actual format interpreter needs to take that and turn that into killer cages, right? So obviously this is not valid SCL format stuff yet. Twitch viewing hours here. So we still want to be logging. Well, yeah, the reason I'm streaming this on SudokuCon is to kind of test out some technologies. Like I've tried out this multi-stream from OBS, which is interesting. I didn't know I could do that. So basically, because my restream doesn't allow me to restream to an RTMP stream, and I cannot restream to a Twitch stream without a login. So my restream actually doesn't restream at all. It's just streaming straight to YouTube. But my OBS itself is streaming a second stream out to Twitch, and that seems to be working, and I'm quite surprised by that. And I mean, my streaming bandwidth is different today than it was when I started 8 years ago. So yeah, 2 streams aren't really a problem. And that might be something we want to utilize for some purposes. I don't know. But it means we might not necessarily need to something like Restream.io. We can potentially just do it straight out of OBS. Yeah. I don't know if I can put them side by side. If I bring this over here and I bring my OBS over like this, maybe we can do a little bit of latency testing, see how far. Yeah, it's about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, about 5 seconds behind. That's to be expected. It's not bad. That is all right. All right, let me put everything back in place. Yeah, I'm happy actually that it's running on both. And I'm wondering in the future if I can do this, because I had trouble in the past where I needed to reconnect or switch from Restream over to YouTube Direct. And it was always hit and miss if I could do it quickly enough before the stream shut down. Now with this multi-stream plugin in OBS, I could potentially set up the second stream immediately before disconnecting the first one. I don't know what it does if 2 sources try to connect to the same thing, but it might be a lot quicker than what I usually used to do. All right, now the point of all of this is to ultimately push the code into my open source repo. And what I want to do for that is I have included the Huffman code here just because it's potentially useful and maybe other people want to look into it. I haven't included the whole test harness for this yet because that needs access to a lot of puzzles, like millions of them. And maybe I'll publish something in terms of research some other time. So I just want to kind of put some generic methods in here for now and a simple script that kind of demonstrates it. So let's go back to here. Let's see what we've got here. These should probably live here as well. Cage codec, Sudoku packing. I mean, I can throw them in here just because they're so small. And I put them above the codex radixes. So we have the Kodoku, Dekodu, Dedoku, goddammit, Dedoku. Alright. And then here, I want to do some testing. Don't need that anymore. Oop, I removed too much. Probably what we'll do is we'll have some test data, right? So we'll have something like const test data P81. I'm gonna call it puzzle plus solution, or SP81. Right? And that's just gonna be a puzzle and a solution. Like that. Right. And then we'll want to have something like with cages. Something like that. Or let's give them some more meaningful names. So we have a solution. We'll just label them up. And we'll have the puzzle. Then we'll have with cages. So that'll be the solution. All right. And then this will be cages. And if I could actually get the cage data itself, that probably would demonstrate everything a little bit better. So if I do this, and then JSONify it, JSON.stringify, like that. Oh no, did I just... JSON.stringify, like that, and enter. All right, so if I take that, right, and put that here under cages, like that. All right, does that make more sense? All right. So we'll make a function, test SP81 encoding, and we'll take an S81 and a P81, and we'll test it. Oop, test data. Yeah, we're missing something here. Trailing comma, just to keep things neat. So, we'll probably want to bring that up here. But I'll probably move these into here then afterwards. Oop. So, we'll probably want to do it this way then. We'll pass in... That's not supposed to be a D, it's supposed to be an S. Test data.puzzle.s81 and .p81. And we'll probably capitalize this just to stay consistent. So now I'm basically just going to clean up the code a little bit into very clean individual, hey, this is how it looks when you run it. So somebody else can kind of get started very quickly. Yeah, thanks, Karen. If anybody has any questions about SudokuPad, about SudokuCon, I will try to answer as best as I can. I am not the man in the know, but I have been part of the planning process from pretty early on, so I might be able to answer some questions. Personally, I'm hoping to see people in person that I've been interacting with for, what, 3+ years now? So that would be pretty awesome. All right, so we'll just demonstrate that. So encode it S81 equals here, or what do we have here? We'll do that. And then... actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to indent them, as is my habit. And then I can output that. Thing. Like that. All right. There's another project I'm part of. I don't know if I can announce it yet. I need to talk to them. But it's basically an educational initiative to provide a version of SudokuPad for children, I think 9 years and over, for informal education. So basically it's like, hey, math is fun, all that sort of thing. And I'm basically going to add some features to kind of simplify the user interface and give more control, and maybe a simple version of a website where puzzles can be published by, teachers or group leaders, things like that. And they're also going to have a presence at SudokuCon, and there's going to be certain features that I want to build specifically because they'll also benefit SudokuCon, such as an easier print interface, how to print a puzzle for a large group of people, things like that. So there's a lot of that sort of thing going on as well. And if any of that is interesting, or if you're curious, just let me know and I'll tell you more about that. And it'll also help me to kind of gauge interest, what people care about, and in which order I should do certain things, right? So we're going to output the length, right? And then we'll have something similar for decoding. So we'll have decoded, yada, yada, yada. We'll put that and we'll boot a decode. And then we can output the decoded here as well. And the length is probably not necessary, but it'll probably help if it's equal to, this. And in fact, that's probably all we care about. We don't actually need to output again. We'll just output if it's the same as the original. That'll kind of does that, verifies that for us. Now for the puzzle, we don't need this. For the solution encoding, we'll just do what I did earlier with the with this nums to bits, and we'll just do the bit encoding. So we're gonna do that. So we'll do encoded P81. Let me just pop by the YouTube channel. Sorry, there was somebody earlier. I probably missed them. I wish I could see any. I don't have any access to any stats for the stream, unfortunately. I don't even know if I'm a moderator. Am I a moderator? Flash mods. Yeah, I should at the very least be a moderator, I believe. Yeah. Would work on one puzzle together at the same time. Well, I actually built a prototype for a simultaneous solving interface for like a cooperative mode ages ago. But right now it's a little tricky to implement without like user accounts and all that stuff. And I was hoping by now I would have those. But it might have to work in a sort of anonymous fashion, like, hey, you have a special 5-character key, because the data needs to go between people, right? So I'd have to have a server set up where the data passes through, and then I feel also have a certain responsibility. Like, I don't want people to click on a link and then screw up somebody else's game, that kind of stuff. So the technology itself is not that hard, because of the whole replay system I have. It's basically just synchronizing the replay data. The hardest part is to kind of make it safe and make it, withstand contact with the real world. So it's definitely something I'd like to do. So it all kind of depends where it falls in terms of priority, right? All right. Where was I? Encoded P81. So we'll output that. We have that encoded. Now to decode that, I think we needed to show it how many bits it needed, I believe, right? No, wait. Encoded. No. Decode. Did I not have to tell it how many bits to decode to? I feel like that's something I had to do earlier. But did I remove that code already? I think I might have removed that code. Okay. I think the decode B64 yada yada yada. Yeah, needs a size, and the size needs to be here as 81. All right, and decoded. 1 second, my brain is slowing down. Yes, P81. So this is P81, not S81. Encoded P81, decoded yada 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 is equal to P81. And hopefully all of that will just come back as false. Let's output this and see what it looks like. Oh, okay. No, wait. It makes sense. Because basically it only knows the bit pattern. Oh, but we can convert that. We can convert that. We can now map this. Map. We have a bit and we have an index, right? And we'll basically just map it to the solution. So we'll just say if B, then solution I, else 0. Is that how it works? Nope. Nope. I believe this is a string, which we'll have to turn to an array. And then we'll have to rejoin it into a string again. But what I think is much more valuable, more important, that I have thought about for a while, because again, eventually I want to have like a whole nice website where people log in, have accounts, install their stuff. But I also don't want to, like, I know there's a lot of work to be done there that has nothing to do with Sudokus, and I hate it, so I don't want to do it. So I'm going to try to do a lot of the features ahead of time, kind of like what I did with the counter. And one of those features is synchronizing between different browsers and or the apps. So basically what I'm thinking about doing is basically have a system in the website and the apps that packs up all your data in the apps, including the puzzles, but on the website, obviously just the current solved progress, packets all that up, sends it to my server, and generates a temporary unique ID. So it basically generates an ID, gives you the ID back, and you can then open that ID anywhere else, and for, I don't know, a limited period of time, maybe a day, maybe 24 hours, maybe 6 hours, maybe 3 days, whatever, that data will be stored on my server, and you can pull it and load it into another version of the app. And that hopefully will help people moving data between browsers, maybe between computers, things like that. And will give me a sort of shortcut to kind of provide some feature that people have been asking for before I have other things, you know. And then hopefully, you know, by limiting how much data there is and how long it is kept, I can kind of keep the potential for disaster low. Yeah, I mean, all of this will be easy once I have user accounts. But until then, you know, I'm going to try to make do and kind of keep adding these features other ways without shooting myself in the foot. Because if my site gets big enough and somebody says, oh, you know, you can just generate a megabyte of data on your server, let me do that 100,000 times until your server crashes, right? So it'll probably say, okay, I can only store up to 500 such data packages, you know, and then every new data package will delete the previous one or whatever. It also means that if somebody gives that link to somebody else, they will have access to their puzzle data. But since there's no identifiable information in it, hopefully that'll not be a problem, you know. I'll have to see. I'll have to see if it all makes sense in the end. 3.6. In the end, it says it is not the same as P81. No, because it should be the same as S81. No, wait, what? If I do this. Still not the same. No, because it's not. It shouldn't compare to this. Yes. Okay. Now we got it. All right. So basically, because the output is ones and zeros, I need to fill in the digits from the solution to get the actual digits back. But really, you kind of don't need that. You just need the given positions. But you know, this kind of is symmetric and makes sense. And probably I should wrap this code up and into something like EncB64. You know, let's do that. Let's just do it. It takes me more time mentioning it than it would take me to just do it. So the same way I have these two functions for encoding solutions, we'll create a parallel one for encoding the data, right? And the encoding is super simple because it's really just the bit packing. So that's the encoding here. And bada bing, bada boom, done. That's all we need. Nope. That's all we need here. And then for the decoding, basically we just got to do what I just did here. So we'll do that with the data. We know it's 81 characters. But we need the solution. Yeah, I guess we need to pass in the solution, right? Now, I'd like to just return ones and zeros if the solution isn't present. But that will just make it more complex. All right, let's put that here. 1 second. Because I have noise cancelling earphones and I don't know if I will hear a timer in the oven and burn the house down. So if you guys see smoke behind me, please let me know. All right, so we have the solutions and we have these two guys. Let's put them up here for a moment, like that. So now we can do this, kind of replace all of this like that. Encode and decode, like this. And we don't need to do all this other stuff, and that should still work. It should still work. Encode P81, S81, P81, decode. Encode B64P81, encode B64P81, encode P81, encode B64P81. Oh, maybe I didn't save this file, but I do that a lot. All right, I'm just bouncing around all the different chat rooms because I don't have my nice restream chat working today. Still broke it. I still broke it. Because I'm not passing in the solution. All right, so we'll need to pass the solution in. There we go. All right, all right, all right. All right. And I think that's all the testing for this one. Now, let us move all of this into here. So, we only need these two, and I think only these two and these two, right? And I should be able to just do this right now. Yeah, okay. So that's the first test, and the second one we'll do with the killing code. Something just bounced off my arm. Felt something. Maybe there's a fly around. Can I even see how many viewers there are in this? 7, all right. Well, that's already more than on my own Twitch channel most of the time. That's kind of sad. Yeah, I only have 3 viewers on YouTube. So SudokuCon has a lot of active viewers. That is nice. All right, let's finish this off so we can maybe go back to some SudokuCon stuff. Maybe I'll, I don't know. My brain is I wonder if ChatGPT is a good partner for writing like a script, not a script, like a kind of, hey, these are the subjects I could talk about and so on and so forth. Test cage encoding. All right. That here. We'll probably just say test data, and then we'll do something like this: const s81 p81 just test data. How about we do that? All right, and then we can do this with cages. And we'll do this and this. We can hide this. And we can pull the data out like that. We have a solution, and we have some cages. And yep, won't do anything there. Then we can output this similar to that. Now the cages here are, yep, they are what we expect. Okay. And off we go, basically. Cage encoding. So we'll do the same thing as we did here. I'm wondering actually, do we want to... We can probably put this into a test function, test S81 encoding, right? And we can do this, and then we'll just do basically this and some of that, and like that, and then we can just do, yeah, let's do this a little bit here. S81. So if I do this, okay, so we don't actually need any of these, and then we'll do the same thing for P81 encoding. P81. We'll do these two guys, and then we'll basically do this here. But we will need an S81 as well to fully decode that. All right. And then we can do this, test S81, test P81 encoding, P81, S81. If I run that, we should get basically what we had earlier. So wheat. And then we don't need that anymore. All right. And now when we switch to the cage one, we can just do the same thing here. All right. And then test cage encoding. Oh, well, I guess we've already set that over here. So, cages. We need to pack cages. Let's find out what I call that. Encode cages. So we'll have something like encode cages. And what does that output? All right, that outputs our full-on bitmap. And then we'll just bitpack it. And I think I just reused the code down here. So we have pack bits, num to bits, and encode 64. Ah, but we have... what did I call it? I called it... cage encode cages. So basically we kind of want to do something like these guys, but for cages. So we kind of want to do encode base 64 cages, right? And then that'll be that, num to bits, encode cages. Should I call them cages? I should call them cages, shouldn't I? I should be consistent. Cages. I didn't use, yeah, I think that'd be fine. And then instead of groups, yeah, here I'm calling, because I named them cages and then groups. Ooh. What if I call these cells? So everything that says cages here will become cells, because that's 81 cells, right? And then the groups become cages. That. Oh, that's more consistent and something I will understand down the line. All right. We basically just want to just replace this function here. Num to bit cages. Encode cages like that. Encode bits. Do I need to do that anymore? Pack bits. Encode B64 bits. Yeah, okay, I don't think I need to use cat pack bits anymore. And I don't need that anymore. I don't need any of that anymore. I just need a certain number of braces. And then I just do this. All right. And we'll probably want to decode it as well eventually. Oop. Encode and decode cages. Probably want to do these two. And decode cages. Data. And then we'll just do the reverse that we've done earlier. Which I believe is... Encode cages, decode cages. Unpack killer. Decode 64. Alright, this basically is the same thing, and I'm gonna give myself a little bit more space here. We basically need to do something very similar to this. So we need to decode this, but instead of 81, it's 144. Right? And what does that give us? This gives us a string from ones and zeros, and that basically goes into decode cages. Like that. And I think that's all we need for that. Hey, Nivero. Ah, thanks. Well, this is actually for SudokuCon, and I think they need it more than me. So, thanks a lot for helping out. Yeah, we'd like to have that sorted very soon, because we got the fundraising stream in about a month, but we'll definitely want to do some test streams before then, and we can't test features we don't have access to, so it'd be very nice to have that going by then. Encode cage. I need to remind myself if this is working right now. Yeah, not encode cages. We want this now, and that should be the full base 64 encoding. All right, so that'll be similar to whatever we did up here earlier. So we'll want to do basically this encoded cages, and encoded cages, encoded cages, encoded cages. There we go. And then the decoding should be very similar. We have encoded cages, decoded cages. Cages. Now that I don't actually understand yet, because these are arrays of arrays and nested things and so on, and we probably have to JSONify them. So let's just look at it and see what... Okay. So I think we can actually do this via JSONification. JSON, Strictify. We're just serializing it to text and make sure that the output matches the input. And I think it should match even including order of cages, which isn't really necessary, but I think it does. Yes, excellent. Oop, too much. So let's see what we got here. Let me make sure yeah, I'm watching it as well. That's what I'm looking at here. So, cages are here. I guess it's okay to output them here in this test. They get encoded to 24 characters. The solution gets encoded to 17, just like before, and the output matches. So that's our test function here. And I think that can replace all of this stuff. Yes. All right. And I guess we can run them both, one after the other. Something like that. Yeah, and then we have some indenting here that actually makes sense. These tests should make sense. We don't need any of this now. The Huffman code here is not actually used. I'm gonna remove that just to avoid confusion. But I think this is actually something I'm okay to push. Like, obviously, it's not well documented. It doesn't, it doesn't have the utility yet, but it is where it is, and it's something I need to be able to share with some people. So I think I'm gonna go add this in. And I'm just thinking bit packing is a little bit... Bit packing. It's very generic, you know what I mean? How about Sudoku packing? If I rename that and then change this to Sudoku packing. And that is Sudoku packing. Sudoku packing. Sudoku packing. Sudoku packing. Does it still run? Yes. And then we rename this. Should I rename this to test Sudoku packing? Test. Yeah. Yeah. Test. Oop. Test. Boom. And it still runs. All right. I think I'm okay with that. Let's close all of this. Make sure I don't have something still running that I changed. What did I change here? All right. I don't know what I changed here. And yep. And this one. Ooh, what did I change here? What did I change here? Oh, okay. Did I just rename that here now? Right. I think. Yeah. All right. Oh yeah. This is so it's a bit scattered because this is where I'm working with my test data, and I don't have the test data in this repo, so I'm kind of bouncing back and forth. I don't know if it's worthwhile making it into an npm thing. Sorry, I'm just looking at the Discord chat. Auto import new good variant Sudokus would be good. Auto import. Have you looked? So this endless puzzles right now is only on beta. But he's asking for sort of a larger collection of variant Sudokus. And that's kind of what it's about. SudokuPad.app. So it's under settings. It's under settings experimental, right? Not advanced. Open settings. Experimental and endless puzzles. All right, so let us finish this commit. Edit Sudoku packing.js and test and demos. Yay. All right. So the next step is, I mean, right now SCF doesn't actually support any of this. So I could make like a bulk compactification tool. I mean, let's have a quick look. So here are some of my test puzzle lists. So for example, something like this. This is, how many are these? These should be 5,000, right? So 5,000 puzzles here are 4.78 to, so just under 5 megabytes, right? So let's go to here. But I need to solve them. That's one disadvantage. All right, so 1 second. Yeah, I just realized why I haven't done this yet, because the solving takes a while. I don't know if I can feed multiple puzzles into the solver. Let us look at that quickly, because it's actually something that's worthwhile for me to know. So it's kind of strange because I'm under WSL. Let me actually do this. Sudoku data. And the Sudoku data repo is not open source for obvious reasons. This is not the bounce of the air. So I can run the executable here from Linux, the Windows executable. Okay, so let's see. Can I run multiple things here. Automatically visit the upload here with default browser. Now listen to website connection, change listen port. So I guess this would have to be as a WebSocket connection. So if I do this, right? This is now if I connect from local, like I've never dealt with the solver here, but if it doesn't have to start up and shut down every 2 seconds, that would be super helpful, I suppose. Let us have a look at this. Listening on localhost 4545. All right, let us have a look at rank solver. It's probably about time I get more useful. Hey, puzzle code it. Well, actually, I need help solving about 5,000 puzzles. You got a couple of minutes? I need to add solutions to these. Oh, that's not what I wanted to visit. I wanted to visit this. There we go. One thing I always wonder about is about, like, I want to support ranks financially, but he's supporting me financially. So if I send him back the money he's sending me, all we're doing is sending money to Ko-fi and to Patreon and so on. So it doesn't make a lot of sense. So it's a little... I sometimes wonder how the flow of support goes there. Hey, Nivero, how are you? Niverio. Are you the speech solver that I've heard mentioned? I'm not really familiar with all the names in that arena. All right, installation guides, integration. Now, I don't know if the integration lets me... it should let me send stuff in there. Installation. So it's running in the background. What's next? Now the integration, I want to do my own integration, obviously. Install the new constraint start resolve server. Okay, we have got the listen server running. Solver functionality. So I guess I'll have to look at the script. Solver. I don't know if I can open it in the console and send things by pipes or anything like that. Let's have a quick look at the user script. So if I open this here, it shouldn't pop up into temporary market. Okay, so let's see how it does the connection. Let's find a local host. Here we go. So I'll basically have to do some of this or all of this. But the question is, how can I pass a puzzle? And maybe you guys... do you guys know how I can pass a puzzle to be solved into the Sudoku solver via the temper monkey thingamajig? Unopen. So let's do this here. Ooh, okay. Let's format this correctly. Let's get rid of this horribleness. Tabs. Come on, give me sweet delicious tabs. All right. And there's still some spaces. All right. Okay. So what do we got? We got a WebSocket. We've got an unopen handler. We've got some strings with weird symbols around them. Okay. All right. So I should be able to open a socket from here straight up. All right, so if I go here and do this, all right, we've got a connection. What does that mean? What are we gonna do with that? All right, we'll probably want to output messages as well. Ooh, okay. Function. Message. Console.log. Message. Message. All the messages. Let's do that. No, I don't need that. Now the question is, obviously we need to send something to it before it'll give us a message back, I'm guessing. So the question is, how does it send things into the socket? We have on message, on close, solver socket. So solver socket, somewhere solver socket will do something, right? Solver socket send, here we go. So we need to send something. We need to figure out what we need to send it. Because right now, if I solve the puzzles one at a time from the command line, it takes like a couple of seconds. So going through 5,000 is an overnight job, basically. And I'm pretty sure I could speed that up massively if I just do it through the WebSocket thing. So, message, no, nonce. What's the nonce? What's the nonce? Do I need to... It seems like I need to add the nonce here. Command cancel. What other commands are there? Command solve. Okay. So if I do command solve. So let's just do this. Command solve. Something like that, right? What else we got? What else we got? Command solve. Let's find solve. Boom. Solve. Solve button. Command. Solve. Message. No. Data type. Data puzzle. Okay. Does that mean I can pass in fpuzzles data here? It very much looks like it. So if we do this, right? Let puzzle. Now I have a very small fpuzzles puzzle I use for testing. Where is it? Local tiny test. Yeah, because it's small, right? So I think I should take this. I should be able to take this, right? Is that... I'm trying to remember. Get puzzle in fpuzzles. Fpuzzles. Get puzzle, I believe, gives us the kind of URL version like this. If I put get puzzle in here. Oh, wait, what? Why is this not loading? There we go. So if I do get puzzle here. Not get puzzle. Export puzzle. It's not get puzzle. It's export puzzle. Yeah. All right. So if I do this, I'm curious now if I'm gonna get something back. So if I go in here, just go console, do this. Solver socket is not defined. Ugh. Let's just socket. All right. I don't know if I can just open multiple connections here. All right. What we should do is Greta, it's beeping. Greta. All right, I have noise canceling earphones in. I have music playing and I'm on a stream and I hear it clearly. Oh dear. All right, so we await a promise like this. And we'll basically just do this. On open equals resolve. And then we'll just output it afterwards here. I think we can add the message handler afterwards as well. If I do this, clear that and do this. Okay, we get a message event back. And we got a solution, I believe. And I think it was pretty quick. So this might actually work. All right, I think this is it. What I don't know is how I can open a WebSocket from Node instead of from a browser, because I don't want to paste 5 megabytes. Oh, but I don't necessarily have to. I just need to be able to open those in the browser. All right, well, let's try that. So let's open this. It's already in SCL format though. Yeah, so I need to deconvert it from SCL format back to SCF format. This hurts my brain. All right, let SCL equal. So that's a puzzle in SCL format. And we're gonna go to here. Right. And then instead of doing this, we're gonna do that. So we're gonna do that. And then we're gonna do puzzle tools.parse puzzle data, I believe. And see if that does the thing. Not puzzle tools, puzzle loader. All right, bring that back. Okay, so that gets us this. Now, the problem is we need it in fpuzzles format. Which means now I need an fpuzzles data file just to kind of peek into what fpuzzles data looks like. I need an fpuzzles killer puzzle thing. Okay, I can do this. I can do this, I think. So if I go constraint tools, killer cage, and I draw one here and one here, right? And then constraint tools, killer cage, shift click on the cage selected, shift enter a total selected cage, type to enter. Okay, so if I do shift 1 3 shift 40 31. All right, and now if I do export with open with link, not compressed. All right, and now if I go back in here and I'll do let fpuz equals fpuz like that, and then we'll output this for that. I don't think I want parse puzzle data though, because I believe that converts it to SCL format. Yes, it does. Puzzle loader has another function though. Puzzle loader dot decompress puzzle ID. I believe that's what we want. I believe. We'll find out. So if we'll do that, what do we get? We get this. And if I parse that, json.parse, does that get us the data we want? Yes. Okay, so that gets us raw fpuzzle data. Okay, so basically we need the grid like this, and this for the cages. So, yeah, we'll have one of these. Oh no, wait, we have this one. Yeah. Okay, I'm confusing myself. We have the SCL data up here, right? This is the long one, yeah. So this is one of our test puzzles. And it looks like this. And now we want to convert that to fpuz. So const SCL to fpuz. And thankfully, we don't really care about the details, right? We just want to solve it for the cages. So we don't care about title and metadata and blah, 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 right? So I don't know if that's an asynchronous function. I mean, it can't be because it's outputting the thing, right? So let JSON equals this. All right. Jason. 1 second. How long for the dinner? When should I finish the stream? Greta? When should I finish the stream? Okay. All right. And I did not mute the mic, so you guys already heard that. I gotta finish the stream in 10 minutes. Let's see if we can finish this. This would be nice. This was something actually I haven't figured out before, and the solver, everybody's using it, and I'm not really that familiar with it. I haven't used it that much because I'm not a setter. It's another thing I need to learn. Yeah. You know what? I'm gonna write that down. Teach Sven how to set a puzzle. Maybe that's something I can do with Full Deck and those guys. Hey, Clover. How about that for a stream segment? Teach Sven how to set a puzzle. I don't know. Maybe we don't have enough time in a 24-hour live stream, though. That's what I would be worried about. All right. So, can we do this and skip this for now? So if we do this, boom, we have JSON data here. We can ignore everything except for the cages, right? And they basically just need to be converted to RC format. And we need the values, right? So JSON.cages.map. And we'll have a cage C. And we'll turn that to something, which we'll find out in a second. We don't actually want to output that or that. If it was any good. Killer cage. Value. Okay. So we'll change, and cells is like this. Okay. So we'll turn this into these guys. And we'll just, all right, so cells, let's give ourselves a little bit of breathing space. Would be cage dot cells dot map. So that's a row column thingamajig, but they're one down, one off. So we want to convert that to R plus 1, and C plus 1. Ooh, I missed something here. C plus 1, like that. And that's the cage cells, I believe. Yeah, this one, brackets. Braces, not brackets. Brackets are square, I think. And that's not working at all. Cages map. Oh, we need another bunch of braces here. Killer cages, 3. That's from the other one. And then here, cells. Okay. All right, cells. And we need the values. And the values are stored in... what are they on the output? On the output, it's just a key value, and then on the input, it's also value. Don't know if they have to be strings. Let's find out. We'll have that, and then value c.value. So that should be correct cages, right? And then grid, we can probably how do we create a grid like this? I mean, it's 9 of these, 9 empty objects. I don't even know if we need that. Do we need that? Does that do anything? Maybe we don't need it. Maybe we don't need it. What if we do this? So we'll say size is 9. Killer cage is this. I hate it when it's not pluralized. Is this. And grid? Maybe we don't need grid? Maybe it'll fill it in. We'll find out. And now, this is our puzzle, right? Our fpuz is this. Nope. It's this. Right. And then the final step would be to encode it and compress it, right? And I think all we need to do is compress it. And that's in loadfpuzzle.compress puzzle. And I think that's all we need to do. And I think we can just shoot. JSON. Can compress object. I mean, we can. It just becomes a letter Q somehow. Is it this? Is this the compressed data? Because what's the thing after it? I don't know. Let's find out if this is our killer cages and if it is completely broken or if fpuzzles can actually load it. All right, it cannot load it probably because we're missing the grid. So if we'll say grid is array 9 dot fill. Can we fill an array with empty objects like this? Can I just do this? Does that work? Huh. And then can I just inception this again? Like that? Can I just do this and that gets me a 9x9 array of empty objects? That'd be nice. Boom. Looks like it. All right. So, no, I can't run that here. It's got some dependencies. Okay, that's a lot more data suddenly. And let's see how fpuzzles handles this. That doesn't seem to load. If I clear that and I open the console and clear that too. Okay. Then I try to load this. Error. Cannot read properties of. Okay, so there's something missing. Let's go back here. I gotta make this a bit smaller. I just don't have enough space. All right, so we have. Clear that out. Let's do this. So our compressed data is this. What? Where is it? Did I? Oh, I'm an idiot. That's in the wrong place. That's got to go here. All right. That's good. That's good because that's an easy fix. I thought maybe that fundamental. Yeah. Okay. That explains why. I was wondering why the data was so big. Because I put a grid into every cage. All right. Look at that. Okay. Now the question is, can we send this to the solver, right? Let's get rid of that. And now we can do let fpuz equals this. Right. We're just going to return that. I'll put all of this anymore. We could just do that. We don't need that at all. So, quick dry run. So fpuzzles now should be just compressed fpuzzle data without prefixes. And now we should be able to send that into the solver and see if we get a solution out of it. And what it looks like. That was quick. The JSON could not be converted to system string. Fpuz is a string. It's compressed data that works. The JSON value could not be converted to system.string. Killer cage. Oh, okay, so it does want strings over here. Holy crap. Holy typed languages, Batman. Wonder what ranks would be saying. How was England? Alright. Alright. Is this a solution? Imagine a yellow butterfly. If I take this here and dot replace place with nothing globally, and then how long is this? 81. It looks good. It looks good. If I take this and uh-oh. This is not the puzzle, is it? This is not the puzzle. This is a different puzzle. Well, let's open this one. So it's this puzzle. If I take this and go in here, enter solution, paste that in. Huh? Go back. Enter solution. Put the string in here. Press OK. What the what? Why not? Enter solution. I think it takes, wait. I think it takes whichever tool I'm on and that screwed it up. I cannot be on the pen tool. Yes. All right. I mean, it doesn't find anything wrong with it. That means all the cage sums work. Okay. That's really, really good. So the question now becomes, well, step one, let's parse the return thingamajig here. So if I run this, right, message event is this. So basically, I want to turn this into a nice little thingamajig function. The problem is this kind of mechanism, you know, because what would be nice if I have a function, it's an async function, it comes back with a solution. I don't want to assign a new function each time. So, but I'll figure it out. This is definitely something I can work with. I've been informed that it's time to end the stream. Let's see how long it was. Does that tell us? Yeah, 2.5 hours. All right, that'll get us a couple hours for this week. Thank you very much for hanging out. It was a bit of a mixed bag. I fell back into my programming roots. I got so much programming to do that I find it very hard to do other things. But I really should kind of try to do that more because I need to do a little bit of planning. I need to do some more of these. Anyway, if you guys have any thoughts, any questions about SudokuCon or the technical stuff I do, feel free to pop by web app feedback on the Cracking the Cryptic fan Discord or on Sven discussion under Puzzle Plaza, or even I hang out on the SudokuCon channel as well. Can somebody paste an invite link to the SudokuCon Discord? I don't have one handy right now. That'd be great. Thanks, guys, for hanging out. Take care. And see you at SudokuCon in 2025 in Boston? Hopefully.